I get what you're saying. And yes, the pendulum has certainly swung between US and Mexico, absolutely. But there is still a gap between US and Canada and certainly others. And this is a wonderful group that we have going right now, and we want them to do well in 2026. And the teams that they play is going to dictate how much they improve, how much they evolve, and then ultimately how successful they are. Look, if there is money to be made in some of these summers, and you mentioned summer of 2025 and these types of things, if there is space, any type of landscape to put tournaments, people are going to do it. To your point, if they're going to do it, let's make sure that it's the best competition we have. You heard Clint Dempsey on the broadcast tonight, and he's forever harping on that in a good way and a positive way. I think he recognizes that it doesn't do the U.S. men's national team any good to play games against, with all due respect, El Salvador, or insert your team there. And at this point, if it's not going to help us even to play against Mexico because of how far they have fallen off, then we have to look elsewhere on a continual basis. You saw tonight talking about the game against Germany, the game against Ghana coming up, and there will be other games that are going to be announced too. And you hope that they are the best competition, but there also comes a point where you play what you can get. And part of Mr. Crocker, Matt Crocker, and Oguchi Onyewu, who was on the broadcast tonight, and obviously Greg Berhalter, part of their job is to make sure that they do everything in their power, to your point, to get the best possible competition, because they're not going to get it in qualifying. Yes, you got Copa America, and that's going to be important. But leading up to that World Cup, you got to go wherever you have to go. You have to do whatever you have to do. If it's importing the competition here to the U.S., fine. If it's going to other places to get those types of games, you better be on a plane, and you better be doing that, and you better be pounding the pavement and on those phones to make sure that if there's an opportunity to play a team that is better than the U.S., then you have to be first in line and make it worth their while to play that game, whether it's going to them or bringing them to the United States, because that's how you're going to get better. That's how they're going to evolve. And that's how you're going to have the best possible chance at being successful come 2026. Mosse.
Well, he mentioned the U.S. Cup. I believe that's the competition where you scored against England at Foxborough. Is that not right?
Yes, that would have been, yeah. And those were created types of cups. But again, we were playing at those times. We played against Germany, we played against Italy, we played against England, obviously Colombia, those types of teams. So every single game that we were playing was against really, really good competition. And yes, we had sprinkled in there teams that we were kicking the crap out of, but there was a recognition again back then, leading up to '94, because we weren't going to qualify, that we needed to go, and we went to two Copa Americas. We flew anywhere, and that was before blackout dates and stuff like that. So there's only so much that you can do, and all of these players. Part of the reason why the U.S. is so good is a lot of these players are playing in big leagues, they're playing for big teams, so they have to gauge that. And even this summer, we're only going to see half of the team basically. Albeit an elite part of the team, play 2 games, and then we're going to shift over here in the next week and move over to the Gold Cup. And it'll be interesting to see how the mix and match happen, and what the perception is of this team through Gold Cup, and what the expectation. I'm telling you right now, the expectation should be that the Gold Cup team should go through the Gold Cup and should win the Gold Cup.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.